All right, so welcome to this short little video tutorial looking at how to set up your coding environment with Python and Kivy. So got this new laptop here and looking to get it all set up, and part of that process is adding an installation of Python in so that we can run our Python code. So I thought I'd share it all with you so that you can all follow along when you're trying to do the same thing. So if we go to python.org to access the Python installation files and click downloads, so you'll see it asks you to download the latest version, which is 3.11, but I actually want to use an older version because currently this is a quite new release. As you can probably tell from the screen, it's the 1st of November today, and this was actually released last week. So Kivy, which is the package that we're going to use for our user interface objects, isn't quite compatible with it yet. So we're going to use a 3.10 installation. So to access that, we scroll down, and we're looking for a specific release. So we'll go with 3.10.8. You could use 3.9.15, but 3.10, probably the newest one that does everything we want it to do. All right, so looking at all that, down the bottom is the file. So we just want the Windows installer. Well, I do. You may want to use something different depending on your individual setup. All right, and when we get the installer loaded and running, rather than just clicking install now, we do want to click on add Python exe to path, but we also want to customize the installation. So if we scroll through, yep, all those are fine. Next. So you can currently see it's going to install in our local app data area. We want to make it available to all users. So this will just make it easier to access in the command prompt, in Visual Studio Code, all of those different spaces. So if we hit install, this will just take a couple of minutes. All right, while that's finishing its installation, we can start up our command prompt. So to do that, we hit start and then type CMD. And you'll see it pops up with an app called Command Prompt. On Mac, it's called Terminal. Linux, I think it's called Terminal also. But we don't just want to get in and run it. We open it, we want to run it as an administrator. So if we hit that, you'll see that it says Administrator Command Prompt in the ribbon at the top of the window. And before this finishes installing, we'll just have a quick look, make sure there was nothing else on here. I should have done this first. So you can see it says the version of Python is 3.10.8, which means that it's just about installed. I think it's just adding in the libraries at the moment. All right, so we'll just give that a moment. Hopefully it's not too far off finishing. While it is, we will set up the command that we want to use to install Kivy. So this works the same sort of way for installing any other packages. So Python-m, so pip, and I think the -m stands for modify. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But we want to modify Python by using pip, which is the Python installation program, to install a package called Kivy. We also want to install Kivy examples just so we have them as well. So you can do both at the same time. All right, here we go. And let's finish that. Yep, so setup was successful. Lovely. So this should run now without any problems. Famous last words. There we go. So it's downloading. Yep, a lot more success than when I tried this with version 3.11 before. All right. So it's collected all the packages. It's just in the process of installing them. So as I said, this is the basic setup for any Python package that you're installing. We will install another one because from memory, I'm not sure if it is here, and I will need it for definitely Unit 4. So pip install a package called requests. Oh, no, that's already satisfied. Lovely. So I wasn't sure if it was included in Python's read 10. Turns out it is. That's fantastic. All right, so you'll see if you've ever tried to install something that already is there, it'll say requirement already exists. All right, but we got this successfully installed, which means that it's all working okay. If you get an error, possibly could be that you've used Python 3.11 and it's not compatible yet. However, I believe by the time that we get around to using this, that 3.11 will be a-okay with Kivy. All right, so we've got that set up. Our last piece of the puzzle is simply to, I'm going to remove that, to access our Visual Studio Code. So this is a fresh installation. It is installed, but I haven't actually set it up. So there's a bit of a setup here. Choose the color scheme. Yeah, stick with dark. Why not? Don't really want to do that. Yeah, no, let's just go with all that. All right, so to make sure that we've got the correct Python editor, we need to go to Preferences, Settings, oh sorry, Python Interpreter, I should say. Extensions. We haven't added that in yet, have we? So we do have to add the Python extension into Visual Studio. So you can see it's a pretty popular one called Python. All right, install that. Hopefully that won't take too long. While we're here as well, let's install the Kivy extension. So it'll basically provide language support within Visual Studio Code. So when we're typing in the Kivy language, it'll pop up. I do want to turn that off. I'll have to go and fix that later. All right, so extensions. All right, it's in the process of installing. So it gets, oh, okay, it looks like we're there now. All right. So select a Python interpreter, we do need to do that. So select Python interpreter, and you'll see it does prompt that as one of the options. Lovely. So if we can do this the first time, that's fantastic. All right, if you've already set up Visual Studio Code and Python, the package, you may not get this option. Yep, that's fine. Mark is red. Mark done. All right, but the long way just to make sure, preference settings. All right, so then in those extensions, we should now see Python. And our default interpreter path. So where we saved our Python installation, the python.exe is now there, but that's where you would add it into that. All right, so hopefully that helps you getting set up with Python and Kivy and ready to bang out some code in Visual Studio.